Good evening, everyone. It's Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Time. It's Outlawed Live. Myself, Ron Stone, and Mike Idle. Mike, how are you, buddy?
Excellent. Ron, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great. A lot of information to compile this evening for the show. No guests. It's just folks who have to look at yours and my ugly mugs for the next hour and a half, and listen to all the things that happen at Wisner for the folks that decided not to go. And we have a lot of stats compiled here as far as Hoganic's Midwest sweep. We now have 5 of those classes in the sweep in the books, 6 more to go. Those final 6 will end in Unionville, Missouri in a couple of weeks, the Friday after Labor Day weekend. We have a couple of classes that we want to announce points champions in as well. And updates on sweeps and updates on points and recapping Wisner. I guess you could say we got it a little bit easier today because we don't have to recap the Iowa State Fair. Of course, it got rained out both days, but enough went on at Wisner, enough going on with sweeps, enough going on with points that I bet you we don't squeeze it all in an hour.
As if 149 hooks and a packed house wasn't enough to keep us on our toes, calculating all these points live in between hooks where vehicles were going every, 90 seconds. It was a busy couple of days. It was top tier pulling at its absolute best. So good thing our resident mathematician was up there. And I'll tell you, folks, it wasn't this guy. So.
Well, we were calculating the Thunderbolt award as well. The best overall, winners. Luckily, on Saturday night, we had Lori and her crew calculating that as well. So I know we kind of double check and we double checked each other's numbers. But was a huge weekend at Wisner. It was awesome weather, good crowd there. I think they're on the right path. They're going to have a huge event. We were discussing a little bit in our morning meeting this morning, what could that event use that could make it bigger? And we were talking about, camping sites, more camping sites, making them more, and maybe even suggest to them, and maybe I'm going to go ahead and say it out loud, is, maybe give a little bit of incentive for folks that come in, from out of state or from out of the area and go camping, give them a couple of free tickets for renting a campsite. Just a suggestion to them, and I think that pool will continue to grow.
And that's not an unheard of practice either. There are other events that are big multi-day events, and if you get a campsite, you pay a flat rate, and included with your campsite, however they do that, is a pair of weekend passes. So it's not without precedent. It can be done, and that'd be a neat way to add the beyond the pool scene to things as well, to have a campground scene as well.
Yeah, I'm sitting here talking to John Narragon I'm texting with John Narragon right now, back and forth. Of course, he's with the pool committee up there at Prairie Village in Madison, South Dakota.
Yep.
Big event, one night event for Outlaws. But this pool brings in a ton of people. If you haven't been there, they have a huge grandstand, and they absolutely fill it. I'm talking no empty spots, and then lawn chairs in the front, and there's just a lot of people crammed into a very small space there around it. It really is a big event. So that's coming up this Saturday in Madison, South Dakota. But Mike, we need to jump right in here to all of our stats and such. And I think we're going to sandwich your when the smoke clears right in the middle somewhere. So
I imagine, and this wasn't planned intentionally. I did some gentle guiding to make this happen. But yeah, tonight should fit nicely with some checkups of points and such. So yeah, I like that.
I saw that. I just want to look at this real quick here, Mike. Now look at this schedule. It just seems like we were back over here. Look at the top left corner. It seems like we were just right there, June 7th and 8th in Ravenna, and now we're way down here in the bottom right-hand corner.
The southeast corner of it. I had I had my Young Guns shirt on this morning, the Titan Tire that has a schedule on the back. And as I pulled that off and I laid it down, and I literally had the same thought this morning, Ron. I looked at the schedule and I said, how did we go from here? Now we're clear down to, what is it, 5? Are there 5? No, there'd be a little bit 5.
There are 4 weekends left.
Okay.
5 events.
It is 5 events. We're down to 5. 6 events. Six events.
4 weekends, 6 events. This weekend is Madison, South Dakota. We take the weekend off for Labor Day. Then we're in Unionville and Buckner. The weekend after that, we are in Bedford, Iowa, and Spencer. And after that, it's Lufkin. So, yeah, total of 6 events, 4 weekends left on the schedule. So, and speaking of schedules, I just want to pop this up there. Hoganic Midwest Summer Sweep. Folks at Hoganic Midwest have put up $50,000, 18 different cities, 11 different classes. And you can see here, there are just a couple of events left, Mike.
Yeah.
Once again, look down in the right-hand corner. Look down in the southeast there of the Madison this weekend, and in a couple of weeks, Unionville. So
yeah,
that's almost done. So crazy.
What a hit that was. You know, if I heard it once, I heard it 20 times in the pits. How grateful and appreciative drivers were of that, how important it was for them to track down those points, and other classes kind of clawing and chewing and begging, wanting it to come to them. So Holganix Midwest really did something special by doing that for the pullers this year.
And in saying that, let's look at the finals in that. Like I said, there 5 of those classes are complete in the sweep. Let's go with the naturally aspirated 2-wheel drive. Of course, that ended in West Point, Nebraska.
Yep.
That was the first one to end. The dirt, Matt Phelps, and I think we talked about this a little bit last week.
Yep.
The dirt won it, and Running Wild second. In the points right now, that's flip-flopped. Running Wild is leading. The dirt is second. And that points finale in all will be done after Madison for that class. So, congratulations to Matt Phelps. All 5 of those pullers right there will get a check from Hoganic Midwest. So top 5 get paid. You can see how close that was between the top 2 there.
Well, and it's still, the numbers are very comparable to that in the national standings as well. So fun things are going to be going down, and that's Matt Phelps's home puller, the closest puller he has to home. So is that our only other class that's wrapping up national points in Madison?
I believe so. A diesel superstock. No, they might be in
Spencer.
Yeah, I think they're in Spencer. So I don't think so. I think just the 2-wheel drive.
Okay.
I'm trying to find that 2-wheel drive. Let's see. You were talking about the national points. I want to bring that up. I don't have it here. I don't have it. All the stuff I've got here, and I don't have it. But I know Luke Renner is leading that.
Yeah, on the app. And Ron, have we had the drop on the app yet?
I don't think so. I don't think it's in there.
Well, as it stands,
whether or not this is in there that it was
whether or not this is with the drop or not, Luke Renner is leading by 1 point. And I knew that's about where they should be. So as of at present, Luke Renner is at 205, and Matt Phelps in the dirt's at 204 in the national standings. Of course, the Hoganic Midwest Summer Sweep, you can see right here on the screen before us. So, Matt already wrapped up that points battle, looking to get it done as well for the naturally aspirated 2-wheel drives in Madison. So, David Jeems at 183, which mathematically, I think that means he's mathematically eliminated. I'm not 183 plus 28. If the other 2 didn't even show up, I do think that he is outside of that window.
He had some catastrophic damage there mid-season to the drivetrain and took him out for 1 or 2 events.
I think right at 2. I know he missed Pawnee City, and I think he missed the hook after that as well. So.
Yeah, well, it doesn't take him out mathematically. I mean,
Yeah,
unless
technically.
Running Wild in the dirt. If Running Wild in the dirt decided not to show up, then yeah, he could win it. But
And he won the hook then mathematically,
right,
but
right.
something tells me that Matt Phelps and Luke Renner are going to be there in Madison, South Dakota. So I would say that's a scenario we don't have to worry about.
Yeah, I think that's right. So let's go light limited pro. There's your final in the sweep. Wow, look at how dominant Spare Time was there.
He's had a good year, beginning, middle, and now towards the end. He has been a consistent hard charger all year long. So he does. Yeah, I'm looking on the app right now. He won the regional light limited pro. He's won the Holganix Midwest Summer Sweep, the light limited pro.
Yep.
And he is leading the national series by 12 points.
Yep.
So he's looking for the hat trick. Yeah, Brady Gosler's looking for a triple points championship on the year.
Yeah, there's the region right there. Yeah, he won the region. That's done. But yeah, and he wins the Hoganic Midwest Summer Sweep. Like you said, he's leading the national. But watch out for that guy right there and listed in third. He is making a run right now, Mike.
And he's been there all year. There was a point early in the year where he took the lead, where he rattled off a couple of big wins while Brady kind of finished middle of the pack. Yeah, Mike Hargan's not one. But then again, I say Andrew Meister. Andrew Meister is one of those.
That's what I'm talking about is Meister. He's on a run right now. He's only 12 points back.
He can win. You know, there are certain vehicles. Points championships are won by consistency, but there are certain vehicles out there that just win at the drop of a hat. They're good for a handful of victories every year. That's what the dirt slinging demonstrator feels like to me. He feels like one of those that's good for about 4 or 5 victories a year, and you can't sleep on him because, a couple of those wins late in the year, and Brady's going to have to look out.
Yeah, thanks to the folks at Beer Money for these graphics here on the National Series. But yeah, Brady Gosler going for the trifecta this year: the region, the National Series, and the Hoganics Midwest Summer Sweep. So we'll see how that pans out. As he's only got a 12-point lead over a hard charging dirt slinging demonstrator. But I think we got all that in there. Let's see. A lot of stuff here, Mike. A lot of stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, Spare Time, and like I said, all 5 of these. Look at fifth there, who never even expected to be anywhere up there.
The person who was just filling in almost, just kind of wanted to get that tractor some hooks so people could look at it to see if they wanted to buy it. I'll be darned if he shouldn't, in my opinion.
I'm thinking the same thing.
A fit. That is a fit as natural as a glove. I believe I'd be asking the owner, what's it take to just keep me piloting this thing for a while? He is a natural fit in the seat of that tractor.
I agree. Let's go light super ag final here in the Hoganics Midwest Summer Sweep. The Hawkeye Hooker, Jeremy Paulson, with a good run there. And it's interesting to see some of the guys that didn't show up at some of these and how they dropped out and others popped back in. The Hawkeye Hooker been strong all year. Ryan Boyce under construction, a good run for him. He's in the money here in the Summer Sweep.
I know Ryan is feeling as good about his position in that tractor as he's felt since he owned it. And he is a firm believer, and you can just tell by the confidence when you speak to him that they are knocking on the door. They feel that next year they're going to be in a position to be in a hard charge for a points championship. You know, they've had a nice season where they've really got that under construction put together, and you can tell they're getting really comfortable with it.
Down here in third, Corey Schluter, I think we might see him a little closer to the top, if not in the top spot, if out for that transmission failure he had.
At Lee, yeah.
Too much fun. He's right there, just consistency,
You can never sleep on the too much fun or the just for fun. They just pull after pull after pull. They're A to B and back on the trailer, and they don't miss anything, and they just gobble up those points, and that adds up by the end of the year.
Honestly, nothing against him, but he's not going to win any pulls. He's just
it's not the way they have that set up. Yeah,
it's not going to win, but if he's going to go 250 to 270 feet every week. The other guys that are pushing their equipment to the limit and breaking every now and then, that's going to allow a consistent guy to move up in the ranks. And here he is in the money in the sweep.
Yep, exactly. And
Chuck
and
Fluter, the barn buddy, rounding out the top 5 in that light super ag.
I like seeing Jeremy Paulson walking away with the victory here, because last year in the national points in this class, it was kind of a 3-horse race, and it really kind of came down to Corey Schluter and Mark Ulmer, being the heavyweights. And it feels like, I haven't seen as many seasons as you, Ron, but it feels like it's kind of Schluter versus Ulmer. That's your 2 heavyweights, with Paulson being the next one right there. So to see the Hawkeye hooker walk away with something to show for the amount of, he comes to the track and he hits it hard every single time, and he's just as good as anyone else. So that was a fun one to see him coming out on top.
Here's your national points update. Hawkeye hooker still within striking distance of the barn burner. Mathematically, he's still in it.
Yep.
He could win, both. All depends on what happens with Schluter here, if he can hang on to that top spot. Under construction there in 3rd, too, in the top 5.
Yeah.
In national point. And there's Too Much Fun right there in 4th again. And the barn buddy, those last 2 spots there identical to the sweep. So
yeah, that'll be interesting with with the Hawkeye hooker being where he is, and you talk about the ones that push it right to the brink every time, and Schluter's definitely, I'm not going to say they push it right to the brink, but they they're pulling the pin when they go down the track. They're pushing that one aggressively. So anything can happen. We'll just have to watch the rest of the season.
Let's see who's watching tonight. Mark J. Ham, our resident photographer, was hanging out in Wisner this weekend. Evening, Mark. Cole Lundahl, he had some good pictures too. Yeah, I stole one of your pics there shortly before the show. I thought that was a cool pic of the Big Temptation. Was it the Big Temptation? I don't even remember.
It was a little, wasn't it? Was it the black one? That black one's little. And which I think they switched on us, Ron. I think 20 or 30 years ago, black might have been big and the white one was little. And then they built the cream one and flopped the names.
I thought it was a cool pic. You could see the crowd, the new grandstand full, and everybody behind it. Was a pretty cool pic there. So thanks for that, Cole. Coy Millsap says hi. Mark J. Ham. LED lights would be a great addition. Of course, he's speaking about possible updates at Wisner.
Yep.
Photographers love those new LED lights for some reason. I don't know. Alan Ulmer checking in. Great event coming up at Madison. Looks like the weather's going to be pretty warm, though, compared to last weekend in Wisner. That's all right. We can handle that warm weather. Robert Miner checking in, as usual, from Niobrara, Nebraska.
I got to meet Robert this weekend. That was
Really?
fun. We got to bump into each other at the bottom of the announcer's booth, shook my hand, offered me an ice cold beverage. We never met up there. There's a lot of people you got to try to meet up with at these big pulls. So I'll be around for a long time. Robert, we'll get that cold drink together. But no, he was a fun one to put a face with a name.
And then the mayor of Ravenna, Nebraska, Marty Samuelson, saying hi from Ravenna. Looked like a great weekend in Wisner. What happened to Nebraska State Fair pool? Well, we didn't get it. Nebraska Bush got it. That's how it goes sometimes,
that's
so. Marty Samuelson also. Andrew has had a very good year. Yes, he has. Dale Bartels. Dale, I'm trying to get a hold of you. I'll try to get you on here so you can talk about Madison a little bit. Dale's kind of a resident there.
Yeah, I knew that.
He knows all of what's going on at that event. Andrew Sprocks is looking forward to Unionville. We are as well. That's always a big pull. Of course, they've added modified four-wheel drives this year. And also they've got something special going on. They've got a duel of the fuels going on.
Yes, they do. That's going to be interesting to see that thing shake up.
Yep. Devin Davis checking in. Hey, guys, what's going on, Kevin? Dale says they've already added some rain to the track today, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Tina Berger from Wilbur, Nebraska, enjoyed Wisner. We did too. Always enjoy the pull there at Wisner. And Tina sent me a suggestion today, and we're talking about it, and we've talked about it in the past. Some of the fans that can't enjoy the banquet, the award ceremonies, the trophy presentations and award ceremonies, fans are interested in watching that. So we're talking about possibly live streaming that, at least the award ceremony part, so the fans can see that and see their pullers without their helmets and their uniforms on, all duded up and looking nice and accepting their awards and seeing their speeches. So thanks, Tina, for that suggestion. We have talked about it before, but you actually sending me that, and maybe that's enough. Put us over the hump, and maybe we'll get it done this year. So thank you for the suggestion. Ben Beller, howdy from Howard, Kansas, spraying soybeans, out watching the podcast. Cool. Chris Pierce watching from South Dakota. Chris, I'm assuming you're going to Madison this Saturday. Parade Alley Lounge. He changes his name every
time.
He was partying at Bowling Green. Maybe he was watching the Outlaw Bowling TV not podcast, but live stream.
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think that there was more than a couple live streamers out there, because of course you walk through our pits and, there was a handful of people that were keeping up with what was going on out east. So we'd like to think that. But no, I was, unable to be in having cocktails in Bowling Green. I was right where I needed and wanted to be this weekend there in Wisner.
Can fans go to the awards ceremony?
I've wondered this before. I've wondered about this.
We're at capacity now. We had close to just under 500, and that is members, sponsors, promoters, and families.
Yep.
And we had a big room the year before, and the year before that, and last year we had an even bigger room, and we were pushing capacity on it. Fire marshal does have a lot to say, and how many people could be in a room. So unfortunately, we can't open that up to the fans. So Mark Cam, charter bus. Now you could come party at Margaritaville. It is an awesome place, and the pullers will definitely party with you. But as far as being in the awards, I can't guarantee the fans would be able to get in that. So Chris says he is planning to go to Madison, South Dakota. I bought the Beer Money t-shirt you wear on here at Bowling Green. Is he talking to you, Mike?
Well, I've got a handful of them, so that'll work. Yep, we love it. We have an engaged audience tonight, Ron. We got a lot of comments. Keep up with a lot of viewers. I like it. This is good. Yeah.
Russ Dostal, Outlaw super fan. Good to see the guys from Wisconsin coming to play in Wisner. Isaac Conway. Wow.
Yeah.
That was capital AMA.
There's nothing about that wasn't fun.
Capital AMA zing for sure. That was an amazing pass. And then he had a good pass on Saturday, but when he was burning it in, the old turbo had enough. So
it claimed some victims that night. That track and that wagon were both tighter on Saturday night, and his wasn't the only turbo to expire on that side of the track.
Case Conover, always watching down there from Lytle, Texas. Case, we're going to be coming to Lufkin in October, buddy. Last pull of the year. I expect to see you down there since you couldn't make it to Whitewright. So that's an awesome pull. Benefits our veterans. So hopefully you can make it there. Pray to Alley Lounge. Mikey, if you like Infinity bottled whiskey, I'll make you a batch for next August.
Ron, you ever have Infinity bottled whiskey?
I have not. I'm not even sure what that is. No.
You know what? Sounds like something I'd like to try. I'll leave it at that.
Marty's family said no comment this time. He just Case says he watched Wisner on out. Awesome, Case. Awesome. Let's see here. James R. Dye rode his motorcycle back from Denver, Colorado to Wisner, Nebraska. Was there Thursday and Friday.
Oh, that's cool. That'd be a fun way to experience a weekend.
Look here. Chuck Cleveland, nice shirt, Mike. Surely Toby didn't make you pay for that.
Got called out. Chuck, I think you were right there when he gave it to me. I think this was all we were all hanging out together. I like the power. You know what? Those pro stock 4-wheel drive guys, those door slammers, they're fun to be around. I usually end up finding myself in and around their camps chit chatting at some point.
Yeah, so. Be careful. Be careful now. You'll get accused of being a door slammer, Mike.
Well, if didn't you say better me than you or something like that?
Yeah.
Taking the heat off of your head for a while.
He said he's ready for Lufkin. I am too. Look at what I'm wearing. Look here, Case. Yep. Mission 22, buddy. For Lufkin, Texas. Now here's your Infinity
This is
whiskey.
the Infinity whiskey. I'm learning, man. It's back to school day for me. It was my first day back at school, so we're learning stuff. Blend multiple whiskeys in one bottle, and age for months. And before you drink, chill it. Ask Jason how mine was.
All right, now look, you're an English teacher. What's the key part of that sentence? Ask Jason how mine
Jason.
was.
Yeah. Was.
Like was. How, I mean, Jason drank quite a bit of it? Or is that
means Jason only had one drink. Can you say how mine were?
Or it's gone if he drank the whole thing.
Well, we talked about this, Ron. This is a collective singular. This was something that we were debating before we announced on Friday or whatever. We're getting way down the rabbit hole here. We're talking English and pulling and grammar. You can tell that, my worlds have collided. Teaching.
I'm just saying past tense was means Jason maybe drank the whole bottle. Maybe that could be.
Well, just there's no is or maybe. Yeah.
Chuck says spark plugs is good. There we go. There's some good grammar there.
Spark plugs is important.
Is good. Spark plugs is best.
That one needs to be on a T-shirt. Spark plugs is good.
Hang on, Parade Alley. We could collectively drank it all.
Yeah. Collectively empty. Yeah.
Let's take a break from the comments here.
Yeah, they're rolling in. Yeah, we got.
I had to get them in before we got too far down the line because sometimes they
folks, we like it. We like the interaction. So this is fun.
So we saw light superstock ag. We saw light to pro NA 2-wheel drive. Now, speaking of door slammers, let's go ahead and throw this up there. There's your final. Look how close the top two were.
Half.
Right.
Yeah, were. Yeah, not are, but were. Yeah. Bipolar 125.5. Now, how does that break down? Did we have a tie somewhere along the? Oh no, this is because average. We average points at 2-day events. Yes. Talk to the fans about this, Ron. This is something they might not fully grasp when first looking at the Holganix Midwest Summer Sweep schedule.
In the sweep, some of the hooks, some of the classes had points events at 2-day or 2-session pulls. Like Ravenna, of course, the ones there just got a 1. There was no average. Rock Valley was one. Wisner was another, where you had 2 hooks. Now, we didn't just take your points from Friday night, your points from Saturday night, and add them in. We took an average. So if you took first place on Friday night and you took second place on Saturday night, that's 28 and 26, your average is 27. So you got 1 score for that. That's where the half points come in, because sometimes, let's say you get second one night and a third the next, that's 26 and 25. Your average is going to be 25.5. Yeah. So that's where that half point comes in on those multi-session events.
So
going
average finish somewhere was just half a point. So an average finish, or however you want to talk about that, it truly mathematically could not have been any closer. That's as close as this points race could have been.
Yeah, actually going into Wisner, Rat Trap had a 3-point lead.
Yes.
And comes out a half point behind Bipolar. Crazy close there. The top 6 were actually pretty close, but I only put the top 5 on these graphics because that's all that was being paid out were the top 5. The Show Me Chevy was like 1.5 or 2 points behind the Tater Wagon. He was real close as well to being in the money. And we can compare that. Let's do like we've been doing here. I kind of like that, comparing
with
that
the national points as well.
Yeah, heck yeah.
That one's closer than you think, if I remember. Not as close. Nope. This one's he should be feeling pretty good right about now.
Well, yeah, not as close, but as far as being close to the sweep points, it is relatively close. Bipolar, huge lead right now over Rat Trap in the national points. Noise Complaint right in there at third, and he's within striking distance of second, of course. Troublemaker in fourth, and Show Me Chevy in fifth. Now, this is national points is what we're showing right now.
Yep.
So, then the final sweep from the weekend. Let's check that out. Super Farm. This was a close one right here. You can see
there's another pair of tractors that have been slugging at each other with a heavyweight battle in all 3 point series this year with that Red Rock and Someday. Those guys are putting on, folks, don't just watch pulling as single events. Watch pulling as a whole story that unfolds over 3 months. And the story that Red Rock and Someday are telling, it's a fun one to be following right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Red Rock, with the accident they had in Britt, and here they are. They're going to win the sweep. Someday 2.5 points back. Blaze of Glory, he was right there in the mix, in third.
Mr. Consistent. Top 5 almost every time. I bet if you printed off Jared Johansson's stat sheet, very rarely would you see him away from the number 5 position. He almost gets 5th almost every single time. He's always in that 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6 spot. Very consistent runner.
Now, interesting fact here, the Bruley Buck was not in the top 5. He was just outside the top 5 and 6th. The Husker Hooker was there in the number 5 spot, and he did not come to Wisner. And of course, missing those crucial points, the Bruley Buck with a win over the weekend and winning the Rock had the opportunity to move up here in the standings. So both the teams, trailer mates there, Dakota Deer and Bruley Buck, the Andrews family gets 4th and 5th in the sweep. So Cornhusker Cadillac with a good run this year as well. Let's compare those to the Super Farm National points.
They're flipped. They're flipped on the national one.
Comparing them to the national too.
Yeah, Weisenkamp is some days up there at number 1, Red Rock number 2. This race is a long ways from over.
Same top 5, they're just a little mixed up. Same exact top 5, Mike. Look at that. They're just a little mixed up.
And the top 4 in this one, I'll say this right now, Ron. I will go on, live, internet or whatever. Those top 4, this is a long ways from being done. Any of those top 4, I think, has just as good a chance as anyone to come out winning this points race before it's all finished.
Well, the Super Farm Hooks coming up. Let's see. Are they in Madison this weekend? I think they're in Madison.
I feel like they are. Yeah.
Let's look at that.
This is another one of those classes where you could have an outlier win and throw one of these big guys way down. So there's points to be made up for the Andrews team. They're putting on a fun show right now.
Only 2 hooks left for them. Only 2 hooks left. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 2 hooks left. This weekend in Madison and in Spencer.
Yeah.
So only 2 hooks left for him. So a lot can happen, though. A lot can happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Man, especially between those. Blaze of Glory's a little far back.
Yeah, I don't see him walking away with a points championship. Now, I'm not saying something interesting won't happen and he won't gain a spot or 2 and finish in the 4th or the 3rd. But I think to go on here right now and say, oh, well, someday or Red Rock's going to win this, that'd be a bold statement. I think any of those top 4 are capable of pulling a rabbit out of their hat before it's over.
Yeah, that's always a tight class. That Super Farm class is
hardest one to win. That's the, what, if full pulled picks or full pull dot picks, as you put money on that one, tread lightly. That's a tough class to pick a winner in, as Brad Halinga likes to remind people of, and he did again. Yeah. All he did this year was win at Rock Valley and win at Wisner just to shake the order up. So the 2 hardest places to win, and he grabs a victory at both of them.
Yeah, he had a heck of a pass at Wisner.
Yeah, dang a beauty.
Yeah. But and now here we go. Same, the trifecta is not going to happen. Well, it could. I guess it could. We got Red Rock won the sweep. Okay. Red Rock won the sweep. Then in national points, some days leading. Red Rock is 10 points back, definitely within striking distance. Now let's go up and look at the region.
Yeah.
The Super Farm region, and Weisenkamp won it. So no trifecta for Red Rock.
Yep.
But one of them could get 2 championships this year.
Brady Gossler out there making it look so easy that we're just flipping through our apps here thinking, oh, well, surely that we're going to see a couple of these. It puts in perspective quietly how impressive of a season that the Spare Time tractor has had.
Yeah, that's cool. I love the sweeps. Huge thanks to Holganix Midwest for expanding that sweep. Let's get some comments here real quick, Mike. Dale Bartell's talking about Jason gambling on how many bites to eat.
Have you seen? I haven't watched the video, but I saw the hype for it.
Oh, this is something that actually happened.
Yeah, they did Handshake Bets, is a social media company that like just bets on everything. And they went to the world and they said, what obscure, which I took a little issue with this, but whatever. That's, they said, what obscure sport should we go see next? And they said, should we do like llama racing or night jousting, or should we go to a tractor pull? And of course they went to Bowling Green. I was like, all right, you're going to see, that's not an obscure sport. And they were betting on things the whole time. And one of their bets was, can Jason Schultz eat a Whopper? What's the over under for bites it would take Jason Schultz to eat a Whopper? And the over under was 4.5 bites. So I didn't watch it. Wow. But I'm actually going to take the over on that. I don't believe that Jason Schultz can eat a Whopper in under.
You're not giving him much credit. I think he could do it.
Oh, I think if the over under was on total number of Whoppers, might be different. But
Ben Beller, it was good to see the big Kansas Florida Skull-Outs take it first. That was cool.
That was a fun story because that's another one of those feel-good teams that just, they need one on their shelf.
Interesting. I talked to him I interviewed him in the winner's circle or winner's square, as you and
Jason Wayman pointed out.
We'll work on that next year and make it circular. So, it was cool because when I talked to him, I knew he did some kind of machine work, and he said, well, the basic machine work on the block and such, and crank he has done elsewhere, but he builds his own intake manifolds.
No kidding.
He, of course, builds his own for his trucks. They have 3 trucks, him and his kids. And guess who else uses his intake manifolds? Miles Jumps. So,
okay.
Guess who finished first and guess who finished second? Skull-Out finished first, Jumps finished second. So his intake manifolds finished 1 and 2 out of a big class of pro stock 4-wheel drives. I told him in the winner's circle, I said, you know what? I said, you might sell some more intake manifolds for this deal here. Get the word out. And so he's doing something right with them, of course. So, yeah, congratulations, Brad Skull-Out. That was super cool to see him take that win.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Derek Brown was great seeing his boy do such.
Roper's putting the pieces together. If you go back to his previous 2 pulls where he had a really nice finish in Mountain City, Kansas.
Yep.
And then you saw the comfort level with which he looks like he's driving that truck right now. And I feel like that was how I would describe his runs in Wisner. He looked very comfortable in the seat of that truck. If you go all the way back to his test hook on Friday afternoon in Ravenna, Nebraska, where you could almost see him sweating from the announcer's booth, to now where he has just gotten to where that machine is second nature to him. There's big things coming for that young man.
Yeah, he made a couple of test hooks down in Lufkin last year. They brought the truck down, and he was nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs down there. I think he actually was a little bit nauseous. He was so nervous down there, but yeah, he's doing a good job. So I think
that's been another fun story to watch develop this season. Yeah, he's a good young man, and he's going to make that truck go places.
Next year they're going to have a trailer that'll haul both trucks, so we're going to get to see both those trucks at a lot of these events where both classes are competing. So
that'll be fun,
and they'll both be running for points. So awesome deal. Let's get back to Mike. Let's get away from points for a minute.
Sure.
And let's do your when the smoke clears here.
I like it.
Wait a minute. Let's do a lead in too for it. What do you think? Yeah. I have a perfect to lead in to that.
I thought you might.
Perfect lead in for let's see, points champions here. Points champions. Look here, brand new points champ in the light modified tractor class here. The Ott boys just switched places, only 6 points separating the Warhawk. Wins at Gage Ott, young gun out of Norfolk, Nebraska. His brother Blake, who's won it the last 3 years, going to take the runner-up spot this year. Andrew Beckman and Pure Pressure in 3rd. Wes Sievers running Rowdy in 4th. And the Geigers, Captain Hook 2 there in the number 5 spot. Good run for them this year. they're getting that thing dialed in, and that's going to be one to watch next year.
I completely agree. Yeah, the Geiger machine, they're another one kind of like Roper to watch them bust onto the scene and where they went from their first hook to now. That thing's going to be a bullet. But what a feel good story with Gage Ott. Rattled off. It wasn't several wins in a row. It was several wins in a weekend in a row. He won like 4 consecutive Saturdays, followed by a Friday win, followed by a Thursday win. Once that tractor lit, there was no turning back. So
I think they're gonna go out and buy a new set of tires, though. I think
there was a fun. Bodie was telling me that whole story about how they played musical chairs with the tires, but there is a favorite pair, and they found their way kind of through natural rotation. Gage's tractor, and Gage said, "No, they're bolted onto the blue one. I think they'll stay there." So, but this week, fittingly, your When the Smoke Clears featured driver is going to be Gage Ott. That run that I love that they ended that video with that run in Pawnee City. That's like the most viewed video of the summer on the Outlaw Facebook page is his 418-foot pass where he won in Pawnee City. So congratulations to him. And let's check out his biography really quick. He typed it up and sent it to me over his lunch hour yesterday. So I won't tell. Gage just started his teaching career. He's a junior high teacher. And he's on like day 4 or 5 of teaching, and he typed up his responses during his lunch period. So hopefully, the principal wasn't checking in too soon while he was doing that. So I appreciate that. But
does that happen to you, Mike? Does the principal check in on you when you're looking?
So I'm going to get myself in a little bit of trouble here. Ron, how something funny will happen with a puller. Like, there'll be kind of a wild ride or something. In the off season, the banquet will announce a brand new rule. And everyone kind of looks around and said, we know why that rule got, influenced. I started doing quite a bit of social media work for Beer Money Pulling Team and other, just I did a lot of social media work for Truck and Tractor Pulling in the last off season. We go back to school, we're reviewing our handbook, and there is a rule. And they said social media access is now prohibited during school hours. So kind of looked around a little bit, and I don't know, but we're not.
You told on yourself for sure.
Somebody, when you get online and you have a podcast where they can see it, yeah. But so we're, a rule got written in. I got to be a little careful. So yeah. Sometimes the principals walk by, is what I'm saying. But Gage is your featured When the Smoke Clears puller of the week, fresh off his first points championship. He drives the Warhawk. He says the vehicle description is just a V12 Allison. Pulls in the light modified, which I appreciate. He didn't call it the light limited modified. So, Ron, people are starting to – it's gaining traction, what you've kind of quietly been sowing the seeds for there for a while. So he pulls in the light modified. He's been pulling for 6 years. His first hook was in Columbus, Nebraska. Now he says his most memorable hook, and this is interesting because Gage has a soft spot for diesel tractors if you really watch him. He says his most memorable hook was Shipshewana, Indiana in 2021 on the one bad apple that belonged to the Deck family. And, of course, he still is a guest driver on the Dream On machine from time to time. So he kind of likes to play with those 4-1s and super farms a little bit. He said his wildest ride came from this season. Wildest ride of his career, Concord, Nebraska, 2024. I racked my brain. I can't picture it. Maybe he was a little light on the front end and kind of slapped it a little bit. I don't remember anything, but for him, he said Concord is the wildest ride he's ever taken.
I don't remember. Obviously, Gage does, but
yeah.
Man, I wish we could go grab it right now. But
that tells me that you have a career of smooth runs when your wildest ride is not even in the announcer's forefront of wildest rides of the season. So, he must be a pretty smooth operator most of the time.
So Gage is how old now? Does it say how old he is now?
I don't think age is listed on here. He's been pulling for 6 years, and he's just starting his teaching career. So that's probably going to put him at that 22 to 24. Yeah. So I would say he's probably right at 22. Gage, if you're watching, how old are you?
So is Blake still a young gun then? Is he 26 yet? 26 is you graduate from the young guns at 26. You're no longer a young gun, but
I was wanting to say, no, I don't. I can't imagine. I don't know.
We interviewed him a few years ago. He was still young, but if you look at that points finale there, if Blake is still a young gun, at least 3 of those guys are young guns in that top 5.
With Geiger, is Garrett Geiger a young gun or
Garrett Geiger? I'm pretty sure.
And then you could I know Wes isn't a young gun, but this is Wes's second full season, so you've kind of got, depending on how you want to split that. So he said his biggest pulling heroes, and this makes sense. This is just a good, straightforward answer. His dad and his brother. He says both are so knowledgeable, and I wouldn't be where I am without each of them. So, their pedigree kind of speaks for themselves in that light modified class with all the success. So Gage giving them a good nod there. I love this. He said, best pulling advice. And he goes, it's a typical light modified response. There's almost become an inside joke. When I do my pit tour where I go live in the pits before the pull, I always ask people, what is it going to take for a good pass in such and such night? You know what every single light modified driver says? It doesn't matter if it's Beckman or Sievers or any of them. They all say the same thing. They said, pull farther than everyone else. That's every time. Yeah. So Gage's advice, his best pulling advice, he goes, typical light modified guy response, pull further than everyone else and you'll win every time. That must be something they just joke around with in their class. So good advice, Gage. Day job, he's a junior high industrial tech teacher, just started that career. And his pulling goals, this is a fun one. He says, I want to have a career from pulling itself to building tractors and tractor pulling parts with my brother. So if he could find a way, it's not just the driving, but the whole aspect of it, he would love to make that. That's in it. Most people say, what's your goal? I want to pull in Louisville. I want to win 10 national championships. He says, I want to make this my gig. That's a neat response. Best part about being an outlaw, says there's so many great events local to us where our friends and family can come out and support. And the message to the fans, do not be afraid to talk to pullers and check out their vehicles before and after pulls. Talking to fans and getting to inform them about our vehicles is better than actually pulling itself. So a man who doesn't only like to drive, but also likes the behind the scenes work. And your 2024 points champion, light modified points champion, when the smoke clears, puller of the week, Gage Ott. So fun little write-up, fun little biography that he submitted to us.
Check out Mark J. Ham's comment there. He said those brothers could drive wheelbarrows and place in the top 3.
You're not wrong, man. My favorite part watching and announcing is time they're on the track to back up to off the track again. It's got to be less than a minute. Now, when you're running a starting line camera, it's the worst thing ever because you are all but sprinting to get that front end shot. Blake zooms out there, backs it up. Blake can back up and hook to a sled more efficiently than most people can parallel park. That guy just zips in and out. And then the minute that chain is tight, you better watch out, green flagman, because those two boys are gone.
The Gage is 22, he says. And we were right. We were right there, 22. Yep. And then, is this mom? He Blake is 29 already. Geesh, I didn't realize he's an old fart. It just seemed like a couple of years ago he was still a young
Now,
man.
Ron, that means you've got to add all those years to your age as well. You're trying to make everyone younger so you can feel a little younger. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But no, congratulations, Gage. That's cool. I love that comment about talking with fans and stuff. But and one thing I take from the yacht boys is how much they put into these Allisons. They put their time in. I mean, a lot of people, talk about the Bollingers, and we talk about we talk about the man from Cambridge, Iowa, that ran the Allisons for so long. These guys are cranking these Allisons hard. I think it was Arlington, and I think it was Blake that pulled, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh yeah,
I heard an Allison crank that hard.
I came up. That was the first thing you said to me. I came up to the booth to kind of just talk about the pull, and that's the first thing you said. You go, "Did you hear how stinking?" I think was the adjective you used. How stinking hard that the RPMs on that Allison, where you said Blake bent that thing. He did. They're not bashful with them. They are not. Which 30 years ago, when you could pick up these Allisons for $350 a pop at a surplus auction, no big deal. But there's not a lot left. So if you're going to hit them that hard, you must be very confident working on them and building them.
Look here, and I mentioned Longnecker from Cambridge and Steve Bollinger, and he said they owe a lot of credit to those guys. So thanks, Bodie, for chiming in and saying that. But in talking to some of these guys, they say the biggest limiting factor on those Allisons is the rod bearings. But yeah, they're cranking them pretty hard, and it's a nice sound to hear though when they go.
If you're a pulling fan, or if you're a new pulling fan, and if you've just seen some local smoke blowing classes in your area, find your way to a track with a V12 Allison. Your ears will thank you. If you're a motorsports fan, listen to one of these go down the track. It's the best sounding pulling.
Hey, how about Drew DeClerc showing up at
that was fun. How about Prince winning the Thunderbolt while hooking both classes on the weekend? 4 total hooks, pulling an Allison on and off all weekend long, and walking away with the doggone Bolt in the light mod class. Usually when we see them, we're like, oh, cool, Canada, 2 classes, and it's just kind of neat that they're there. They walked away with the doggone Thunderbolt.
Well, what's probably the most cool about seeing him win that light mod class is the fact that that's not a new chassis. That's not a modern, state-of-the-art chassis. That one's been around a few years. Yeah. And he made it look pretty easy in the light mod class when he won that. That was super cool. That was really cool. And I was mentioning the Clark family. That family goes way back to at least the late 70s, early 80s, as far as running Allison aircraft engines too. So that was cool to see Drew DeClerc there. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I was gonna say hit Gage's comment because that's fun.
They've stretched a few rods. Can you resize them? Have you stretched them too much, Gage? Can you resize those rods, or is there enough room to do that?
Too much RPM. That's crazy.
Just make your own. I mean, you guys can do that, right? We'll get you some CNC machines, make your own rods. Marty Samuelson asking if Live with Lucetto is coming back. I don't know, Marty. I don't know. Jake Lashaway, is it normal to have a 250-foot track? Well, if you don't have the room for it, it's not normal, but you can. I mean, back in the 80s, they were in indoors. Some pools, people wanted pulling so bad they were pulling on 150, 175-foot tracks indoors. So, it's not normal, but it's not out of the realm of,
It's like a baseball field, the 300 is the recommended, like baseball, like 330 is the recommended distance to a foul pole, but it's not required. You can make do with what you've got. And I like going the other way. If you've got, and I'm going to get, the internet hates this response, but it's my opinion. If you have 450 feet of buildable track to play with, don't make those guys stop at 280. Let them get out there and use that track. Let them be brought to a gentle stop and get out and run. Now, if you got 250, watch out because that box is running for you. But we'll go pulling on both tracks. It doesn't matter.
I like setting it up. If you have the space, give yourself the cushion. If you have 400 feet, give yourself 320. But if you miss the sled setting a little bit and they go 340 and it's safe, you're good to go. You don't have to reset the sled. So that's kind of the way I see that. But
now on that 1000%, they did the right thing with Isaac Conway when he pulled 397 as the test hook with 22 to go. Because you say, well, Mike, you just said that you're comfortable with big distances. That left nowhere for the next guy to go and run him down. You
not knowing, if he was on a good night, a bad night. We knew he was a good run, one of the top runners, but that entered. But was he on a bad night? Was that a really good hook for him?
But you still have to. You got to leave something you got to leave 20 feet for the next guy, And
what was awesome was he came back and proved his pull. I mean,
yes, that's what I love it. I've seen that a few other times in pulling and says, you put all the weight in that wagon you want, boys. I'm still hauling the mail to town. That'll bring a crowd to its feet when they do that.
Dale says Madison is 400 feet. So
yeah.
There's a lot of people there. When you watch that, Mike, and I know you can't go, right? And you're going to watch.
Yeah, that one's just too much and too far. But nope, we'll be live streaming that one from home. So
okay, when you watch, just look at the crowd. Hopefully the camera operators will pan around on the crowd.
I watched it. I live streamed it last year, and it looks like it's one of those where it's got one of those tall grandstands. It just seems like it extends upward forever.
Huge.
So
huge. Noah Mars, shout out that. Heck yeah. Corey Kielmeyer winning the Thunderbolt, and of course the team, Dustin Amundsen and Kielmeyer first and second on Friday night in two-wheel drive. I mean, they were on an island out there.
Yeah,
beyond the rest of the two-wheel drive class Friday night, no doubt.
I thought Corey read the track as good. There was a lot of people who did a good job reading some tracks that changed and develops this weekend. But Corey, to me, looked like he understood something between the setup of his vehicle to the track that there was obviously something that he understood really well, So it looked like his track management or his track readability was on point this weekend. He was fun to watch, and I like it when they come down and play with us at Wisner.
Corey was 361 and change Friday night. Dustin Amundsen, his teammate, was 343 and change. So you see the difference there.
Yeah.
18 feet. And then Tim Fitzsimmons had an excellent pass and got pretty close to Amundsen at 342 and change. Just a little over a foot behind him. But yeah, Kielmeyer was like, he had a crazy good pass there on Friday night, but ended up winning the Rock. I interviewed him. That was awesome for them. So yeah, thanks Noah for watching. And Jake from Camden, Michigan, tuning in tonight. Thanks, Jake, for tuning in to Outlawed Live. And yeah, it's going good. I knew it was going to be a long show, Mike, because we want to get these stats in tonight.
Oh yeah.
We want to bring everybody up to date. So light limited mod points final. Season is over for the light modified class and national points. Gage Ott, first points championship. 3,200. We wanted to mention them tonight. We may have mentioned in the past broadcast, but Gary Kavanaugh wins another one.
Yeah.
Red Edge 2. The guy is tough to beat. Look at the Dark Knight, though. Look at the case.
Yeah, Adam Serve, and I think I say that right. That's how I've been reading it all year. But Adam Serve with that tractor. It's a tough runner. It's consistent. It's beautiful. Have you been right up next to it and seen kind of the shadow graphics?
I'm a case guy, Mike. I'm a case guy. So yeah.
Well, yeah. Then that one's got to be. Have you seen his hauler?
Man, I don't know one hauler.
It's like you know this one. It's like a 1980s GMC tour bus painted pink and blue. Oh no, it's got the whole 80s vibe going on. It is a cool thing, man.
And of course, the Midnight Rider there. I get that song stuck in my head every time I
singing on me now.
I hear the intro, the guitar.
Pullers need walk-up songs.
Yeah.
Alan Brommel requested. He asked me, he goes, is there a way? And he was being serious. Could you guys ever sneak in playing Wild Thing for me when I backed up to the sled? So they want it.
There's a lot of them that trigger some songs.
Yeah.
But let's update everybody where the points are right now. As far as national points, light limited pro, we looked at this earlier. but Brady Gosler, 12 points over Dirt Slinging Demonstrator. Andrew Meister, that could be a nice little battle here in the last couple of hooks in that class. So I know we talked about it a little bit before. We'll move on to pro stock. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at the top three. It's really a three-way battle at this point.
Wambuscat had a nice weekend and has had a couple of nice weekends in a row. That tractor's coming back.
Yeah, Greg Yeager's having a great year with that tractor. He really started off at the end of last year. He took the win at Spencer, and man, that really, it's just, he stayed with it. 10 points back, that's definitely attainable. And their last points hook is down in Texas, a 2-hook.
All the way down, yeah. So that one's going to drag out clear to the deep finish.
Pro stock 4/4 points. We looked at that already. Bipolar, man, he would really have to screw up, I think, to lose at this point. But yeah, he's.
I would say that he'd have to drop a weight on his foot or something, but that didn't stop him already. So
exactly.
he's a man on a mission.
I told him quit. He said he didn't have any broken bones or anything. I told him to quit being such a wuss, and he said that's what the doctor said. So. I think the battle here really is who can get second.
Yeah.
Who can get second? Who can knock Selman out of that number 2 spot? Limited Pro diesel pickups. Look at that.
This one's been tight all year.
Look at that. I mean, top threes definitely. Chainsmoker still mathematically has a shot, but that's a 3 to 4-way battle. And look at, they tied. Megatron and League of Limits were tied going into Wisner, and they come out. Each one of them with a win. Megatron on Friday night, League of Limits with a win on Saturday night. But yeah, Megatron 1 point ahead. Defending points champ, 12 points out of first place. Yeah, that's going to be a good battle going down to the wire, going down to the end. They will hook again in Unionville.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know they hook in, I think they have 4 hooks left. They hook in Unionville.
They go to Bedford, I want to say.
Bedford,
I think they like that track. Those guys are a big fan of that Bedford track.
And then Lufkin. So 4 hooks left for that class. Mm-hmm. So yeah, a lot could happen in 4 hooks here with Limited Pro diesel pickups. Super Mod 2-wheel drives. Here we go.
Getting tighter than it was. It's been tight all year, but that Whippet closing the gap a little bit.
Yeah, Whippet definitely closing the gap. Buffalo's Chips leading, trying to do a repeat of 2022.
Yeah.
And all 3 of the Nelson trucks, the Bullwhip Motorsports team, right there in the top 3, and then of course High Cotton in 5th. But anybody looking in here, you got 5 trucks in here. 1 from Missouri, the other 4 all out of Texas.
Not a surprise, truth be told. The Outlaw Texas 2-wheelers. They're tough to beat.
Dave Bennett used to say it all the time, and I'd hear him, and when he was announcing, he'd say, "Texas rules the 2-wheel drive class." Like, what is he talking about? Well, this right here. That's what he's talking about.
Spot on.
The Super Farm. We looked at Super Farm already. Weisenkamp, someday leading that one with a couple of hooks left in the season. Diesel Superstock. Wow, this class is just all over the place this year. Lots of breakage.
Born Green. There for a while, this looked like it was going to be Maybe's race, and then you kind of thought Remedy was going to.
Secondhand Smoke was leading for a while, but where was he this weekend? So the Remedy's right there. Probably more of a battle for second right now than it is for the lead, but tough class. When you're pushing stuff that hard, man, you just never know. Light Superstock. Green Lightning still hanging on to the lead. I think, once again, here we are. He's kind of in the same boat as Keith Hammonds.
Yeah.
Frank Boaboy. Been consistent.
Well, what paid dividends in this class, I feel like a lot of these guys, and this is not criticism, but they were just, they weren't out early in the year. There's a lot of gremlins and a lot of finicky setups on these, and I feel like they weren't all there, whereas the Green Lightning tractor was kind of just showed up from day one and finished number 1, number 2, number 3 early on, and built up points early in the year that gave him a cushion later in the year.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to check out. We got a lot of people commenting tonight, Mike.
Yeah, we have an interactive crowd, and I love it. I like, people, let us know what you're thinking.
Robert Miner, who decides what classes go where? Well, of course, the promoters generally have an idea who they want, what classes they want. And then I book most of these pulls now. And I just seen another comment. I have to laugh. So I'm smiling. I got to laugh a little bit. But then it comes down to saying whether or not they can have that class, because a lot of times we have to look at the schedule. Obviously, we don't like to book, a single class out in the middle of somewhere that would cause a lot of people to have to drive for one night, things like that. And of course, sometimes we're already booked somewhere. We have a lot of times when you're announcing a pull somewhere, I'm announcing a pull somewhere else. Same class, it's hard to bring that same class to 2 locations at the same night. So, and it all depends on budget, for the promoter. Sometimes it's a small county fair, sometimes it's a huge event, like Rock Valley or Wisner.
Ron, how often does a promoter come to you and say, hey, I want super farms, and super farms are booked up already? And will you come back and say, hey, I can't get you super farms, but I can get you a single charger smoke blowing class? I could get you 4-1s, or I can get you LLPs. Do you guys kind of try to find that comparable trade-off that their fans are still going to want? Is that a common way to create it?
Of course it is. Of course it is. Yeah. And sometimes it comes down to me. I don't know how much sway I have with some promoters, but some promoters, I try to tell them, how many smoke blowing classes with 24 5s on the back do you need? How many classes?
Right.
How many of a class that looks the same you're going to have back to back here, where maybe the non-educated, or not maybe that's the wrong way to describe it, but somebody who doesn't follow pulling like you and I do can't tell the difference.
I'll put it this way. When I think this is when I see like the LLPs and the super farms and the 4-1s maybe all hooking on the same night, that says to me, I need to make sure I'm very much on my A game as an announcer to educate the casual fan. Sure, smoke, single charger, 24/5, but cubic inch difference or turbo size difference. And so that really then falls on us. And so if we're not on our A game, and I think it's good too, if you're going to have a lot of those comparables, throw a truck in the middle of it, throw an alky burner in the middle of it, give the fans a little something different to look at, to where when they're going home that night, it's going to be easier for them to discern everything.
Absolutely. And it's not only that, but you also have to think we're trying to grow the sport, right? Mm-hmm. There is so many distractions for people nowadays that they could, I think you lose some fans because they're sitting at home on their phone. The phone and the computer is such a distraction for people now. So get their butts in the seats and give them some variety.
That's a good word for it.
Change it up from class to class. Give them a smoker class. Give them some semis. Kevin Davis is chiming in. Give them another smoker class with a bigger cubic inch, where the announcer can say, hey, it may look the same as that first smoker class, but this one's got a bigger charger. It's got a bigger pump and a bigger cubic inch. It's making a lot more horsepower. Then throw in a 4-wheel drive truck, and separate those classes to where your crowd's not going to get weary. They're not going to get bored. And I'm just going to say it, Mike. And I joke about this all the time. After about 2 hours, mama is elbowing dad, hey, how many of these red tractors do we need to see that all look the same? So, you're after 2.5 hours, your diehards are the ones in the stands.
Phil Chrysler told me, he goes, the best thing to ever happen to this class was the Dodge boys.
Absolutely.
Just because, and he goes, here I am, a diehard Chevy guy, and they might beat me from time to time. He goes, but we need them, because it gives the fans and the people, oh, look, a power wagon. Oh, there's a Ram. That's something kind of different. That DJ Lures truck that's slung all low and smooth down there. Variety is
The
is
spice
a
of life.
puller's best friend.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Ron,
And
we're getting some requests here. I've got a couple text message coming in. Some folks are wanting to see, can you put up the Holganix standings for the mods and the two-wheel drive trucks?
We will. We're getting there. We are
Perfect.
getting there. We knew it was going to be a long show.
Yeah.
But, we're talking. Yeah. And this is something, variety is huge. So, and it's some promoters, Mike, some promoters want certain people that live in that area to come to their
Or
they may have a certain puller that actually his business or her business, gives money to the fairs. So they want to bring that class in.
Well, and that makes sense. You're not going to have a pull in Mercer, Missouri and not have 10,000 pound pro stocks right there. Gary Porter being from that area. And I think they try to do that a lot, the Eastern Nebraska with the light modifieds, get those guys in front of their friends and their family. And there's a lot that goes into that schedule. But so to answer your question, Robert, there's a lot that goes into deciding who goes where.
Like Jake Lash. Obviously, Jake is an IH fan. So, yeah, you got to love those internationals. And Kevin Davis, you know what? Can we block him on the show? Is that possible? Can we block him, Mike? I think
Kevin, be careful what you wish for, because the flip side to that is we're going to put up the question, start taking guesses, how old is Kevin Davis? And we'll find a picture and put the Kevin Davis picture up here. So
I think this goes back. I think some of these comments are old enough here where we're trying to get through them. They were talking about how old the Ott boys were.
Yeah.
So yeah. Any guesses how old Ron Stone is? Yeah, I'd be happy to entertain that. So Marty Samuelson says, "Go Andrew." I guess he's talking about Andrew Meister.
Meister. Yeah.
And looks like he's a Greg Jager fan too. Go Jager. Yeah. Am I pronouncing that wrong? Is it Jaeger or Jager? I've been saying Jager forever. So
I followed your footsteps on that one. So I've been saying Jager because I heard you say
it.
I don't know. Sometimes I throw, and you don't want me. I'm the guy that gave Luke Renner his new nickname. I swore there was two N's in his name, and I announced it as Luke Rentner. So now all his buddies call him the Rentner. The Rent. Well, yeah, that Missouri twang doesn't help me either. So the Rentner. That's what they all started calling him back home. So,
Jake Lashaway. What about foreplay? Well, he pulls NTPA, and those guys are. You know what? They are in the four-wheel drive class in general with the NTPA. What Keith Hammonds is in our pro stock four-wheel drive class. Jake, the Holman boys, they have that class figured out. I mean, they are.
I heard it. I heard it announced one time they are either the winningest drivers ever in that class, like total wins, or they've won more points championships. Both are probably true, but I want to say as of like 5 years ago, they had this is Dan Mayer. Dan could tell us right now, but as of like 5 years ago, they had like 83 wins, total career wins or something like that in the four-wheel drive truck class. Of course, been doing it since Ron, 1984 or something like that.
Super nice guys too. I mean,
they pulled with us. They pulled with us at Rock Valley. They have been to Outlaw pulls. They pulled in Rock Valley in 2020, pulled again this year, 2024. As a matter of fact, we interviewed them on one of our pre-pull shows.
You know what? They came to Mike. They came to a Rock Valley during COVID. Yeah, we had the biggest schedule of any organization during COVID. Any of the national organizations, we had 17 hooks that year, which was bigger than anyone else. And they came. They came because I know they didn't have a lot of hooks that year, and they came out, and that was big news. That was all over the internet, all over Facebook. The Holmans are. I was walking the pits. I used to do the pre-show deal, the pre-pull deal. I'd go to the pits with the camera, and I had to stop, and because I saw that M.E. Miller tire, it was still in the trailer, and I think the doors were down, but the ramps were still up. And I was like, whoa, I put the four-wheeler in reverse and backed up. And I took a picture. And that's all I posted on Facebook. I said, guess who's in Rock Valley? And it just blew up. People were like, oh, my God, the Holmans are in Rock Valley. But it was super cool. But those guys, yeah, they're awesome. So yeah, Jake.
This year, when you got an unknown call and the area code said Wauseon, Ohio, I was one of those you're like, I better answer this one.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, I better answer. But those guys, and they said they came this year, and yes, we did interview them at Rock Valley, I think on Saturday for the pre-show. But he told me, he said, we just wanted to come help out the community. We thought it was cool because they're pulling points for NTPA. They didn't need to come to Rock Valley and put 2 more passes on their motor when they're competing for points in the organization they pull with, but they did it, and I thought that was super cool of them to do it. So Kevin Davis, we were talking about variety semis. Absolutely, that class is going to grow, Kevin. And honestly, that class is more affordable than the majority of our classes we have for builders. So anybody that's thinking about getting into pulling and they like semis, that's a good one to get into. If you have a truck to pull it, that's the only difference. Is a lot of the other classes you can use a pickup to pull your stuff to the events. The semis, you might want to think about getting a bigger truck. Is it a dying sport, Jake? I do not think so. I think it's all how we market it.
It's bigger. I will say this from a fan's perspective. It's bigger than it was right before COVID. COVID made a lot of us realize what we were taking for granted. And this is in life in general. I promise you, from butts in the stands and vehicles out, we're in a better place right now than we were 6-7 years ago. And with the media exposure that we're getting and the passion we're seeing from young fans and pullers. How many young guns we got? 60?
No, there's 43, Mike. Officially, they're officially ones that have signed up. We have 43, but last year we were in the 30s for ones that had signed up.
So see, it just that makes me feel good. The Young Guns program makes me feel very good.
And as far as Kevin Davis is concerned, maybe or maybe not, I could be a young gun. So just saying.
Rock stuff.
Yeah. Dale Bartels, Lee, Nebraska is a rare all tractor pull. No trucks at Lee, Nebraska. No door.
There was one other of those I did this year. I don't remember if it was with you or on the camera, but there was one other that was a true. I think I was announcing because I said it. This is a tractor. It's a tractor pull. We're not going truck pulling. It's a tractor pull.
And you got to experience Lee, Nebraska this year, Mike. I told you.
It was Lee. Okay, yeah.
I told you about Lee. I said, you're going to love the crowd.
Whoa.
They are responsive to everything you say, and the stands are packed. They're an awesome crowd.
And when you're a like me, Ron, you're very professional in everything I strive to be. And I'm kind of a hype guy. That's more of what I just naturally am. So when you can get that crowd moving and grooving with you,
I don't have to get all wild and crazy with it.
I had a lot of fun at Lee. That one was right up my alley.
Shane McEwen, how you pronounce that? How do I find out where you guys are pulling at? Man, there's several ways. Go to Facebook, Outlaw Pulling. Go to TikTok, Outlaw Pulling. Get to download the Outlaw Pulling app, which is totally free. The schedule's on there with real-time results and point standings. Or go to the official pulling page of the Outlaws on the internet, outlawpulling.com. It's everywhere. If you look up Outlaw Pulling, you Google Outlaw Pulling, you're going to get all kinds of results. So, thanks for watching, Shane. Austin Fluid, he's clapping about something. Something's made him happy. Bodiat, be neat to see. Yes, it would to see Gary Saline get Wildfire back out. I hear he still has it. Still, I bet that thing is one of the most beautiful modified four-wheel drives out there. Even if it is a Ford, just saying. I'm saying that just to mess with the Stroker Ace boys. I like to give them a hard time. Zook Fukerberg, watching from Germany. No, he's down in Texas.
Oktoberfest is right around the corner.
Get the Outlaw Pulling app or go to outlawpulling.com, then schedule. Yeah. Zook, get a hold of me. Still talking about having that pull down in Lindsay, Texas next year. We finally found something Ronson can't do. Sing polka. I got to witness polka, my first live.
So sad
polka.
I missed it. So sad I missed this. This is my number. And I was out and about that night. I wasn't even being an old square. I just wasn't at the polka trailer.
I've never seen, and I had no idea there were that many polka fans, Mike, but Kyle Petch, I'd never seen him smile for as big as he did or as long as he did when he was watching and listening to the polka. Every time I looked at Kyle, he just had a smile on his face.
He said, now, this is a statement you don't hear in Missouri. He's like, oh, no, that band, they're one of the biggest polka bands in all of eastern Nebraska. And I'm like, you have multiple polka bands in the whole state? Like, so he's like, yeah, these are the big boys in this area. And I'm like, there might be 2 polka bands in the whole state of Missouri. There's not much competition when it comes to who's leading that class.
I'm a music lover. I appreciate, of course, I play music. I love music, all genres, and it was interesting to hear it. But I was more impressed by the guy playing the tuba, that he never set his bush light down the whole time he was playing.
Oh, that's
he
a
was
man.
holding the tuba and using and playing the whole time. I thought that was talent right there. So. Crowds have been, yes, they have. Crowds have been very good this year. And you know what? Something we have to get over in pulling too is we have to promote pulling in a way that the stereotype of pulling for people who don't know what it is. If we want to get pulling into the suburbs, to get people to realize nothing against antique tractors, nothing against farm stock tractors, but the true sport of pulling, it is not Johnny Poppers or farm stock tractors with cabs on them, pulling. It is, yeah, there's a variety of classes. It's not just tractors, it's trucks.
Pulling is this.
It's diesel, it's alcohol.
Not this.
Well, it is that.
Yes.
I would say the farm tractors are the sportsman version of pulling, okay? Your antiques, in drag racing, you got top fuel, you got funny cars, you got top alcohol, you got pro stock, and then you have sportsman pullers or sportsman racers. The same way with pulling. I mean, our top fuel is our 7,400 miles.
Yeah, and there's no such thing as bad pulling, but I hear this a lot when people are like, "Oh, you're sacrificing your summer, you're taking off work to go to a tractor pull," and in their mind, they're thinking, 1992, it's the county fair, and there's 10 John Deere Bs going down the track pulling for a blue ribbon. There's a lot more to it than that,
Jake, I'm not sure which comment you're referring to there, but we're a little behind in comments. Kevin Davis is laughing about something, probably about me saying I could possibly be a young gun. Jake Lashaway, do you remember Screaming Demon 2? Refresh my memory. What is that? Jerry Van Dorpy? Would that be Jerry Van Dorpy? Yeah. And Jake, you've commented enough where you have attracted the attention of a scammer, Daniela Nelson. You have attracted her attention.
It's what you get.
He sent you a rather nice paragraph requesting you to send her a friend request. I'm not going to pass it along. Kevin Davis. Wildfire used to pull in Wayne County Fair, Wayne, Nebraska. He's talking about Gary Saline and the wildfire. Who knows Gary Saline can twist his arm and get him to get wildfire back out? Put a big Ford Hemi in there. No, I don't think that's the same wildfire. I don't think that's the same one. I'd be surprised. Oh, Daniela is Kevin Davis. You have attracted Daniela's attention as well. And so has Coy Millsap.
You are the lucky recipient of our
you guys all
lovely scammer tonight.
Attracted her attention.
Reply at your own risk, or maybe don't.
Parade Alley Lounge. Amen. I've been waiting to hear someone say in order to go to sports suburbs are the key demographic. Yeah, and I tell you what, the young guns is a good segue to get to those folks, because you got a lot of these young gals. You got Daley Paulson, you got Jamie Yonke, you got Sydney Summers, that are on Instagram and TikTok, and all these young guys see these pretty girls pulling, and they're like, I want to know what pulling's all about. Is it full of pretty girls, And I think that is a good way to get more eyes on it. So, and then here we go. More eyes on the sport means, yeah, absolutely. Parade. We're speaking the same language here.
Yep.
Parade Alley Lounge.
Yep.
Dale Bartels. So a little bit. Heartland pulls 8 or 9 different types of pulling in one show. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Parts still an issue. Yes, they are. Guys are still waiting on parts. Some of the guys that are breaking cranks and major parts like that are having to hang it up for the year because they can't get a crank, you know. Cole Lindahl, course leaders past Thursday night was impressive. He had it set on the hot tune literally through the camera. I could see the charge pipes glowing cherry red. Was about to read it and say we might have a fire under there. Plumber's Nightmare is a good one. Jake's talking Ohio State tractor pullers now. That's Turbine.
Yeah.
Dean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny Dean.
Yeah. No, not Danny Dean. Don Dean.
Don Dean.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. No, yep. I told you not. Yeah, the bonfire for it. I've heard of that as well. All right.
Danny Dean was the rooster.
Yep.
Don Dean.
Got it.
Don Dean. Don Dean is the plumber's nightmare.
Where were we here? We was after Limited Pro. Let's go. All right. Somebody requested this. Super modified 2-wheel drive points.
And do we have the Holganix standings on them?
We do. We're going to get to it. We're going to get to it here, Mike. I promise you we're going to get to it.
No worries.
So here's national points. Buffalo's Chips, Whippet, Little Whip, Texas Bullseye, High Cotton. And we go up to Holganix. There's 6 classes left in the sweep right now. And here's your Holganix points. Oh, that's the schedule. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff on here. Here we go. I went the wrong way. There's your sweep update. Whippet is leading by 0.5 point over Buffalo's Chips. Texas Bullseye, another point back. Little Whip is right there. High Cotton a little further back. Relentless and Born to Boogie all in those 70 range. So not mathematically impossible for anyone on that page to get up there.
Right. You've got your same 4 in the top 4, but shuffled up a little bit.
Same 5 in the top 5. Yeah.
Yeah, same 5. Yeah.
But Buffalo's Chips and Whippet are flipped. Or was it Little Whip that was in second in?
No, it was Whippet. It's
Okay.
Whippet was second in national standings.
Okay. All right, who was requesting that?
Cameron Neves.
There you go, Cameron.
Cotton farmer out of McAdoo, Texas. He said, well, here, I'll just read it while we're going comments. He goes, could you guys please put the Hoganic standings for the mods and 2-wheelers? He goes, I have no idea what it looks like. So there's
the mods. There's the mods right there.
Yep.
Cameron, that's the sweep. Has I wouldn't say comfortable lead in the sweep right now, but there's only one hook left in the sweep for the mod tractors and the 2-wheel drives, and that's Unionville, Missouri. Entirely
different standings in Holganix Midwest Summer Sweep, I think, than what the national standings are. Cotton Candy leading both, but I don't think Turbinator's sitting number. Yeah, no. Turbinator's not even in the top 5, and it's sitting number 2 in the sweep.
Yeah, that's interesting. It just
depends
on the hook, and look at that. Cotton Candy leading, comfortable lead, 23 points ahead. He could literally miss a hook right now. I mean, we don't want him to, and then River Rat, Twisted Whip, last year's champion, tied up with the River Rat. Cotton Candy, ever since Bloomfield.
What's the common theme among the mod classes in winning this year?
I don't know. Tell me, what is it?
Those tires.
Oh yeah.
The minute Gage put Blake's tires on, and the minute Cotton Candy put those new hole shots on at Bloomfield, see ya.
Yeah, that was a huge change. So there you go, Cameron. There's your modified and 2-wheel drive. Donald was curious about those too. But let's did we do pro stock already? That's sweep points. No, we didn't. There's your sweep update on pro stock. Look at that top 3 right there.
Wow.
1 point separating first and second. 1 point separating second and third, and that's tight with the national points too.
Yeah, those are the same, pretty much same ones, same top 4 anyway.
So look at those top 3, and let's switch to national points. Look at there, top 3.
Yeah. Whew, that's tight, Ron. And both those races, it's same ones, 1, 2, and 3, and that's going to be, and that one's going all the way to Lufkin. That's going to the Big Bang at the end. So that's going to be.
Are you going to Lufkin, Mike? Are you going to Lufkin?
So, no, I'm not on the schedule, but this old phone, it could ring at any time. Winks and hints to everyone out there watching. I'm not.
I didn't know if you were going to go like working for Outlawed TV or.
Hey man, I've never been to Texas, and if someone called me and said we can use you in Lufkin, what am I got to do? I got to go to work. So, the ringers, the volume's on high on the ringer. I'd like to see that one sometime. Lufkin looks like
that is a huge event, Mike. You won't get bored there, I promise you. Light super stock. We looked at this earlier. Frank Bullboy leading. Look at the diesel burner in there, or the oil burner. We got the weapon in there amongst all the Alki tractors.
Another one of those. And if he'd have ran that one A to B all year long, he didn't start running points with that one until maybe we were a quarter into the season and just kind of was doing something fun. I think if he'd have ran Ravenna all the way through with points, who knows where that thing could have done, because it's done kind of like the too much fun or the just for fun, and maybe even finishing a little higher than them, but just picks up points, just eats up the points, and that's how you get up there late in the year.
I grabbed the wrong one there. I didn't download the light superstock Holganix points. I apologize for that. I wanted to compare those as well. A lot of data here, Mike. Let's look at limited pro stock. Side piece, the new and improved side piece. Wow. The mean farmer won the regional, but look at that. 356 to 393. Is it already decided?
Mathematically no, but George is tough to beat.
Yeah, and George did not follow the region at all. He didn't even play with the region. He just wanted the national points.
No. Which reflected in the Holganix Midwest Summer Sweep, because they had one of their hits was actually a regional pull up in Mercer, Missouri. So if you weren't running region, you did lose out on a small scoop of their points right there.
Mod 4-wheel drive, the backdraft on its run this year, that is the hardest truck to beat in Mod 4-wheel drive right now. Lane Thornton, he is on a run. 27-point lead over Dad in Ramrod. And look at here, the Ritter boys and Stroker Ace making a run of it.
They remind me of Wes Seaver's season last year. They could go back and start the year over right now. They might be running away with it. They really, and we knew that. We knew we heard something special in that truck early in the year, and we kind of looked at each other and said, that thing's gonna be in the money before it's all said and done. But right now, the hottest truck is arguably the Stroker Ace truck.
Yeah, Thumper, last year's winner, down there in 4th. Ron Fisher Nuts down in 5th right now. And that class, I hear rumblings that one may be added to the Holganix Midwest Summer Sweep next year.
Yep, I know they want to be.
Did we miss anything here? I think we got them all, Mike. Sweep updates.
We haven't seen light pros in a long time.
There's the limited pro sweep update there. Of course, they were slated to pull at the Iowa State Fair, and of course that got canceled for rain. Pro stock, we looked at that. 540 Light Pro you were just talking about. Yeah, they'll be pulling for sweep money this weekend in Madison. Okay. So 540 Light Pro, that's pretty close between the top 2 at least. Rackham and the Rugrat Rampage only a half a point away from each other. So I think we got them all now. And I think all we're down to now, we've got your piece in, Mike, and we're down to comments.
Oh, there's one comment. I'm gonna steal it from you and put it up here because it's just, I'm telling you, check this out, Ron.
Oh boy.
Those mod guys. Yeah. Ty Omer says change tires for Washington. Since then, 3 wins in the third. Yeah, they put new tires on and had 3 consecutive wins and then got a third place on Saturday night. Tires, the name of the game in the mod class right now.
Yeah. Just like what was the movie? The racing movie from the early 90s.
Days of Thunder.
Days of Thunder, when Robert Duvall said tires is what wins the race. Right? So,
Robbins Racing.
Jake Lashway's Yankee Blue still going. I don't think so. It may be, but probably not called Yankee Blue anymore.
No. Yankee Blue.
What?
Yankee Blue was a last-minute call at the Pullers Championship.
Really?
Pulled at the Pullers Championship, and I don't remember which other circuit it was, he's popped up. He's popped up out east somewhere. He has, I want to say probably in TPA, but I have seen his names sprinkled this summer, but he pulled with a Saturday night at the Pullers Championship. Was one of those, hey, we need someone, and however that went. I'm not on that side of things, and he's first time out in a long time or something like that.
I have to say we have a lot more ladies on here, and Jake Lashaway, you have a fan club. Olivia Cusey wrote you a book on here, basically. Lots of hearts in there. And Georgette Meyer as well. But she also has a thing for Coy Millsap. Just let you know, Jake. Marty Samuelson. How many pulls are left for those guys? You're going to have to be more specific on that, Marty. Which guys? Gary Saline also owned Red Hot. Yep. I actually saw that truck pull in 1980. 7 or 8 at the Ohio State Fair. Zook Fukerberg says black tires matter. Yes, they do, Zook. And Zook, I assume we will see your tractor in Lufkin at least this year. Please tell me you're in the shop right now, working on that tractor to get it done for Lufkin.
The pictures that he sent me this year, when that thing comes together, it's going to be a thing of beauty. There's some neat stuff on that tractor.
So I think Jaeger's class, how many hooks are left for him? Let's see. Hooks is definitely working on it. Jaeger's class and pro stock. Well, let's look. Here, I'm on the official app of the Outlaws.
We know they're in Lufkin. They got 2 in Lufkin.
We know they're in Lufkin. There's at least 2 there. Well, hang on. Nope. Let's see. Spencer. Are they in Spencer this year? I'm assuming so. Mike, am I keeping you up late? Because this is like the longest show we've ever done.
Ron Stone, the day that I complain about talking tractor pulling with you is a bad day for the world, my friend. We go till midnight. Though I did just notice I've had my Frosted Frog turned around incorrectly. What was it you taught me? Label goes out?
Spin in your bottles, buddy. Look at that.
Label goes out.
I didn't get any guesses on my age, so everyone thinks I'm young guns. They are at Buckner, and I believe Unionville. Yeah. So 4 hooks left for pro stock, Marty. So Case Conover. Favorite pro stocks an 830 JD and Case. Look at your name and the tractor you have in here, and your favorite pro stock is a John Deere. Kevin Davis. Kevin wins. 45. Yep.
Cameron says he knows. Cameron says he knows for a fact how old.
Block him right now.
Yeah, Cameron, this is the most active Cameron's been. He's texting me. He's commenting on here. He's interactive with us tonight. So
I will tell you, I'm older than Cameron. I know this for a fact. Though we do share a birth date. I think I'm like a year.
I didn't know that. You guys, look, we got to do like the Cameron Neves Ron Stone party.
Now, Marty Samuelson, he is blocked forever. You're blocked forever, buddy. That is not even funny. Right? Not even funny. Who's announcing Madison? I'll be announcing Madison, Austin, with Dale Bartels. They're at Prairie Village in Madison this Saturday. So, Ty Elmer, you be quiet too. We'll block you just as quick as.
Yeah, when you start talking about, I'll say this: of your two outlaw announcers, I don't have any memories of the Ohio State Fair in 1984 or whatever, or something like that. So,
well, I said 87 or 88.
Oh,
how old were you in 87 or 88, Mike?
I wasn't born yet.
Oh my God.
My first state fair experience would have technically been 1990. I missed the 80s by like 30 days or something like that. I just missed out on
Rodiot. He's blocked too. Get him out of here. No, not far off though, Bodie. Not far on. Marty Samuelson.
You told us in Rock Valley at the beginning of the year, but there was alcohol involved, and I don't remember. So I'm not going to wager.
Alcohol involved. Imagine that there was.
Yeah, well, we were at the bank or whatever it was called. Do you remember? We were at the brewery in Rock Valley where we had some flavorful, and I'll leave it at that. Some flavorful craft beer. There was flavor. I'm not going to say whether it's good or bad flavor, but it was flavorful.
Yeah. What the Austin? Really? He's blocked. Seth Novak's. Ding ding. Seth wins.
It's 7/8.
Yeah, that's a pretty damned accurate actually. It's 3/4 to 7/8. Yeah, 53 and
49 64ths.
Yeah, 53 years old and birthday's in November. Yeah, so
there you go.
Congratulations, Seth. We owe Seth a hat for guessing my age.
Get him a hat.
Yeah, Austin, you're on my bad side now. So
oh man,
that Kurt definitely looks older than me. I don't know where he's getting this. So all right, so
we're getting off the rails here. This is fun.
Weekend off, Mike.
This has been a fun one, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though we're pushing 2 hours here, it's like a record. We had a lot to talk about. I knew it would go. Oh, look at that. Internet can be. Oh, he's like Googling me on. That's crazy. It's that much information about me out there. That actually makes me feel kind of weird, Seth, that you're out there. That's
questionable search history.
Kind of a creeper vibe going on.
Oh man!
All right, Mike. Thanks for staying on here with me so long tonight. Thanks everyone for tuning in. It's been an awesome show. Hopefully everybody's up to date, pullers and fans alike. Keep watching the show. Keep watching Outlaw Pulling TV. Keep using that app. Still a lot of good pulling left to do. I know there's only 4 weekends left, 6 pulls. A lot can happen, in those point standings. So keep watching the points. Keep watching at Holganix Midwest Summer Sweep. That all comes to an end at Unionville. So they're going to be giving away so much money at the banquet this year, Mike. They're going to have to bring a Brinks truck out there to deliver all that prize money for the points and the sweeps and all that. So it's going to be a great banquet in November. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Mike, thank you for being there with me tonight. And we'll see you. When will I see you again?
Unionville.
That's not far from home for you, is it?
A little over an hour. And then I go back home that night, sleep in my own bed. And then it's 2 hours down to Buckner. So we get a nice little comfortable Missouri sweep right in there.
What are you doing Labor Day weekend, Mike? Are you going to the Greencastle Fair by chance?
Are you playing in Greencastle?
Yeah, I actually saw the Facebook ad the other day that the Riker brothers featuring Ron Stone playing there.
Riker played at the Bevere homecoming.
Yep, I saw that.
When we're getting way off the rails.
We are.
When people were asking for entertainment at the Bevere Homecoming in the future, a certain someone's name came up. So be on the lookout. I'm going to Chicago for a wedding.
Oh, no.
To see well, I don't know. Call me. It depends on what night.
Weddings should be banned during pulling season. I've always said that. It's
oh man,
sacrilegious. Thanks, Mike. Thanks everyone for tuning in out there in Outlaw Nation. We'll see you at Madison this Saturday, folks. Tune in. Outlaw Pulling TV. It's Ron Stone for Mike Idle saying good night, y'all, from Outlawed Live. Thanks for watching.